Okay, good evening everyone and welcome to our regular meeting. I will now call the meeting to order. The agenda is there before you. Can I have a motion to approve, please? Moved by Councillor Crowley, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? All those in favour? Contrary-minded, motion is carried. So the first order of business is our appointment of the new Chief Administrative Officer. And there's a motion there, and I will turn it over to one of the members of the Corporate Service and Administration Committee, Councillor King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The appointment of the Chief Administrative Officer, CAO. Be it resolved that the acting CAO, Marjorie Gibbons, be appointed to the permanent position of CEO effective October 17th, 2023. This position is governed by specific terms and conditions of the management agreement and succeeding agreements, and by the duties and responsibilities outlined in the job description for the CAO. So moved.
Okay, moved by Councillor Bruce King, seconded by Councillor Crowley. Further discussion?
Besides, we're really happy to be able to move forward on this. I think we all recognize that Marjorie Gibbons has fulfilled the role and then some over the last few months. So this is kind of a long time coming, but we wanted to make sure our due diligence was done, and it's come through with flying colors. So we're really excited to have this motion to put forward today.
Thank you very much. And if I could chime in here, all this is part and parcel of the process that we followed in accordance with the operational review, and there were suggestions and recommendations by the consultant on how we may move forward in terms of filling some management positions. We felt that Marjorie, being with us since 2012, is it 2012? 2013, 10 years, and over that 10 years, Marjorie has pretty well served in all facets of the organization. She's well versed, well experienced, has the knowledge base, the skill set, and great communications person, I must say, we must say. And so we felt collectively as a council, and we went through a long, exhaustive process following the operation review to ensure that we did things appropriately and properly. And we concluded unanimously that there was no need to go external with this, that through some restructuring within the organization at the management level, that we felt that Marjorie was most suitable for the job. Prior to Marjorie becoming acting CAO, we did go through a process internally with other management to find out if they were interested in the position, and we concluded that again, because Marjorie's position crosses all over all departments, and we felt that Marjorie was most appropriate for the position. Having said that, I will add that we have a great management team, and a lot of them are highly qualified and bring something to the table. But we felt that overall, collectively, Marjorie was most suitable. And from that, because it was recommended in the operational review that one management position be eliminated, and that would be right now the Director of Business Development and Marketing. So that position will be no more, as it will be incorporated into the position of CAO. So again, we are working on the recommendations from the operational review, which again was deemed is what we heard from the residents, and we are acting on that, and we have been acting on other items as well in terms of finances and whatnot for quite some time. But because the work has not been yet completed, it was not added into the operational review. But stay tuned. In the very near future, you will see the proposed recommendations unfolding by council. So Marjorie, on behalf of my council colleagues, congratulations on this well-deserved position. Okay.
Yeah, Mayor, I just wanted to comment too, to support the motion, if I could, just a few words. Number one, congratulations. And second, to reiterate, a robust process was followed, and it was clear that the qualifications and requirements for effectively a new position in some ways, which incorporates another role, the economic development piece, you ticked all those boxes, and it's very important to do that. Your business acumen, communication skills, extensive experience working with government agencies and the funding opportunities. And in the 2 years, if I may, the 2 years I've gotten to know you on council here, I have a high degree of respect for your work ethic and your ability to bring people together. So congratulations, and I look forward to the next 2 years working with you. That's it for me. Thank you.
Well said. Any other comments? Okay, the motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Those against, motion carried unanimous. Congratulations, Ms. Gibbons. CAO Gibbons. Okay, the minutes from the regular meeting of September 19th. Are there any errors or omissions? No, we're all good. Okay, those minutes will be adopted as presented. Business arising? We're all good. Okay, and now we'll move on to the mayor's update. 2 items here, and unfortunately, to start off on a sad note, tonight I regret to announce the passing of Bob Martin, the brother of our recreation director, Steve Martin. Bob was 36 years old. So on behalf of council and our residents, we want to extend sincere condolences, thoughts, and prayers to Steve and his family during this very difficult time. Okay, on another note, I'd like to, on your behalf, pay a tribute and recognition to Kevin Lewis. Tonight, I would like to take this special opportunity on council's behalf to acknowledge and congratulate a well-known former resident of Holyrood. And as a little history lesson, he also served on the first town council in 1969. On September the 15th, Mr. Kevin Lewis was honored and recognized by Canadian performers upon receiving the prestigious 2023 ACTRA Award, which is an acronym for the Alliance of Canadian Cinema, Television and Radio Arts Awards of Excellence. Kevin was a teacher for 30 years, and 18 of which were in Labrador City. For the last 14 years of his career, he taught theatre arts in Labrador City and St. John's. Kevin has also been involved in theatre since 1974 as an actor and director. He also worked in film, TV, and radio. Kevin's acting and theatre career spans over 30 years, including appearances in The Boys from St. Vincent, 1992, Misery Harbour, 1999, Random Passage, 2002, and Heyday, 2006, among many other films. Since 2002, he has been acting in and directing Summer Dinner Theatre in Fairyland. Interestingly, he was one of the first people that Alan Hocko had in mind for the pilot of Republic of Doyle. I will also add, in 2015, Kevin wrote a book called A Paperboy's Story, which tells the story of his upbringing as a carefree and sometimes inquisitive child living in Holyrood, and the events that subsequently unfolded through his life's journey, providing much laughter and openly sharing the deeper side of his life experience, which would fill your heart with emotion. It's a tell-all story, and he never left a stone unturned. As noted by Kenneth J. Harvey, not only is Kevin Lewis one of Canada's greatest actors, he is one hell of a writer. His memoir is funny, touching, smart, and skillfully written. And those were the words from Kenneth J. Harvey. I think those words pretty well sums it up. Again, on behalf of council and residents, we express our congratulations to Kevin Lewis on receiving this much-deserved Actor Award of Excellence for your dedication, commitment, and absolute love for the film industry, both locally and on the national stage. Your family is very proud of your impressive lifetime achievements, and our community is equally proud as well. So congratulations to Mr. Lewis on that well-deserved award.
Well said, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions, comments?
Well said.
Okay. All right. And just to add to that, I don't know if you read that book, but if you can get a copy, I have a copy, so if anybody wants to borrow it, it shares a lot of stories of his growing up in Holyrood. And he was referred to as Auden. And the reason why, his brother, Eugene Lewis, who we all know, apparently he didn't call him Kevin because he had trouble saying Kevin, I think, so we called him Auden. And that's who Kevin was referred to throughout the whole book. But it's a great read, and like I said, it's a tell-all story. Okay, with that said, we will move on. No correspondence, Madam CEO? No correspondence. We're good? Okay. Now we'll move on to Planning and Development. Deputy Mayor and Councillor Windsor.
Good evening, everyone. The Planning and Development Committee, we met on October the 11th with Krista Turnbull, Marjorie Gibbons, Robert Stacey, and myself in attendance. Regrets that Steve Windsor and Gary Gooby could not attend. During our meeting, we discussed the site prep permitting policy. As we mentioned before in a previous meeting, we are still working on developing a policy for that. And the other piece of information that was discussed before we get to the applications that were reviewed was the town plan. And the draft plan and mapping was received on the day of our meeting. We didn't have an opportunity to look at it during our meeting, but the plan is that staff are going to take a look at the plan first. Then us as a committee will get together and we're going to look at it piece by piece, because we need to make sure the accuracy from the many meetings that we had were all transcribed into the new plan. And then after that, of course, it will come to council. So we have a goal of hoping that that will be done by year end. And we'll be able to go into 2024 with the public consultation piece. So we're hoping that's doable. We did review 6 applications. All have been recommended for motion this evening. And before I do those, I just want to ask my co-chair, Councillor Windsor, is there anything that you want to add on or bring up?
No, I mean, as you said, I was unable
Right.
to attend this committee meeting, although we spoke ahead of time, and the items on the agenda for which will follow, and the permits and motions, were all very straightforward, save one, which are a number of conditions are described and attached there. So no, I'm good, very well articulated, nothing further to add from me.
Okay, thank you. So we'll do our motions. The first one is our permits. Be it resolved to table and approve the attached permit listing. 13 permits were issued from September the 13th to October the 13th, 2023, and include permits for general repairs, wood cutting, accessory buildings, new residents, and site preparation. So moved.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford. Seconded by Councillor Sadie King. Further discussion? If not, all those in favour? Those against, motion carried.
The next motion is for 24 Marina Drive. It's a residential build. The zoning is RMD. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Crowley. Further discussion? And that's straightforward.
That's a
application.
general build, yes. Yeah, met
Okay.
all the conditions.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hands. Those against, motion is carried.
The next is 20 to 24 Sir Albert Walsh Drive for a residential build as well. It's RMD zoning. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. Along with this application was for a proposed garage, but that would come under a separate application. So moved.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor, those against, motion is carried.
The next is for 5 O'Rourke's Road. It's a residential build as well. The zoning is RMD. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Crowley. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor, contrary-minded, motion is carried.
The next is for 367 to 373 Conception Bay Highway. The proposal is for a commercial building. The zoning is RMD. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. This application was advertised in accordance with Regulation 10 and 90, and no correspondence was received by the deadline date. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Crowley. Further discussion?
Well, this building that's going to go up, it's on, of course, Conception Bay Highway, and we were back and forth with the applicant to get us a concept plan for landscaping and things like that, because we want to make sure that it fits in with the other surrounding properties there. And he met all those conditions, so we're able to move forward with the application.
Okay, thank you for that
Okay, you know now.
information.
Yeah.
I
Councillor
know, it's a really
Windsor?
good point,
Yeah.
and, that's worthy of some additional discussion. And Councillor King, you'll be happy that we are doing that. I mean, it fits into the beautification approach that we have in the approval process, particularly for the commercial buildings that are kind of in that town center area and the aesthetics of it. We want our town to continue to appear beautiful and welcoming to new business. So, and thank the applicant for working with us back and forth on some of the concepts put forward. So I think that's really good. We did that, and the applicant worked with us on it, and we're going to keep moving that forward. So I'm good to approve this for sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. If there's no other questions or comments, all those in favor, please raise your hands. Those against, motion is carried.
The next motion is for 30 Bryans Road. It is a proposal for a residential driveway. The zoning is RMD. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations, and with the following conditions. The driveway width must be at a minimum the same width as the paved segment of Bryans Road, as per the town's gravel road standards. The town will not maintain the driveway in any way, including applying Class A grading, etc. The town is not transferring ownership of the town's owned right-of-way. The town is granting permission to use the right-of-way. All Parks NL issues will be the responsibility of the proponent. Parks NL and the proponent must agree on the erection of signage advising trailway users of the driveway at no cost or maintenance to the town. The town will snow clear to a small cleared area that is across the driveway entrance to the property. If a culvert is required, installation will be the responsibility of the proponent. So moved.
Moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Sadie King. Further discussion?
Tricky one, isn't it?
Yes,
Right?
yes,
So, I mean, residents, you know, to have a opportunity to develop their land, it's zoned in the correct area, but you know, have an interface there, the access, right? The interface with a linear park, which is what the trailway is, right? So you got to have that sorted out, and the town access to the road. So we wanted to move it forward. This spanned 2 or 3 committee discussions and interfaced with public works as well, right? And that's where you're seeing some of those conditions come out. So, and I'm glad to see that we're working in a collaborative way. You got the province, you've got different departments here, and you get the resident. We all want to achieve a positive outcome for all parties, right? That insulates the town from additional costs, right? And what we are maintaining and not maintaining. So I think it was important to document all that. So I can support the motion. Just wanted to give some flavor to that.
yeah. We had Director Stacy do a very big piece of this to determine, because I mean, it is a there is a cart road that the town did maintain so much of that road. So there were a lot of questions that I had asked during the meeting that Robert integrated into the motion this evening. Yeah. So we, okay, go ahead.
One question. So who's to determine if culvert is necessary? The paving,
I think that Robert will work with them once they start developing the road to determine with the amount of water that may catch up there. I'm not sure. I think that's what he said, that he would go back, and if they determine that a culvert would be needed because of water issues, then it would be the proponent's responsibility for the cost of that culvert.
And that's for everybody's benefit, to make sure that there's free flow of water if necessary.
That's right. And you know, in all the motions subject to our regulation, our development conditions, right? So something that we've been trying to do with planning and development is a drainage plan piece for all applications, particularly areas of high concern. So yes, your deputy mayor is correct in the answer. Is Director Stacy be working with the proponent and to determine what the drainage plan requirements are for the area, and then if it is required, is their cost.
Good, I was just wondering if it was like the thing as they're developing, or if we get a say in it, so that's perfect.
We do.
Yeah, because we're not turning over ownership of that road. We're still maintaining that it is a town road. It's just that he's allowed access if he takes it to those conditions that are there, the width and everything that's there.
Okay, good. Any other questions or comments before we move to the vote? If not, all those in favor, those against, motion is carried.
And the last motion is for Kennedy's Lane. It is a Crown Land referral. The zoning is RMD and PDA. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above referral in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Bruce King. Further discussion?
Well, that's an application that we've had for a few times within planning and development as well, and that is coming straight from Crown Lands. So, I mean, they've made the determination that the land applied for is fine, so they just kind of send it back to us to say, do we have any issues with them issuing the Crown Land? So it's just like a procedural thing.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely correct. It's really a formality, this type of thing. Doesn't come up very often
No.
here, and I think for us new councillors, it's the first time I think it's come up. When it first arose to Planning and Development Committee, the resident, reached out to committee. We spoke to the resident. I actually went site visit too, and as did Director of Public Works, and we explained this is a provincial process first, then comes to the municipality, and the province sent two representatives from the Crown's agency to do a site visit as well and review the survey, engineering survey, and so on. And they were good with it, and they made a recommendation to approve. Now they require our referral to approve as well. No issue. Yeah.
And I guess we got to send in that motion, right? We got to send that motion.
We just send back that, I think we fill out the
official?
form that we don't have any issues with the
Yeah,
with the
okay.
referral. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, those against, motion is carried.
And that's it for planning and development, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Windsor. Now we'll move on to recreation and community events. So unfortunately, Councillor Buckle was unable to join us this evening due to other commitments. So Councillor King, you will do the update.
Well, first of all, on behalf of the Recreation Committee, I'd like to extend our sincere condolences to Steve and his family. Our Recreation Committee meeting was held October the 5th at 4 o'clock with Director Steve Martin, Councillor Buckle, Acting CAO at that time, Marjorie, and myself in attendance. Not a lot of things to do in this meeting, but we did do a lot of discussion. And the first thing we talked about was our recreation facilities. And even though we have a lot of facilities and a lot of things going on, some of them are badly in need of improvement. So that was mostly what our discussion centered on, and where we're going to go in the future, what we're going to put as our first priority. And as we make decisions, that will be brought here to the table for discussion and approval. We also talked a lot about funding, and one of the main funding we talked about right now is New Horizons, and Marjorie informed us at that time that we have already made an application to New Horizons, and that's the program that gives seniors the recreation program that they have today. That's based solely for seniors. Work is continuing on the Salmon Line Trail Network. More trees will need to be cleared, and as the director decides what we need to do, there will be cutting lotteries put out so people can apply again. We also talked about our community garden. We had a successful year with it. Crops were good, but there's a lot needs to be cleaned up, so we're asking people at this point to get their plots cleaned up and get everything ready for the winter. The hoedown that was scheduled for the 14th has now been postponed due to the weather and will be held again on the 28th with all the same activities. And now that we're at the end of the Fall Fest, we're gearing up for Christmas. And that'll be here before you know it. So thank you.
So true. Yeah, light up the
It's
park.
coming.
Okay, thank you for that report, Councillor King. Any questions or comments relative to that update? Okay, if not, we will move on to infrastructure and public works, and we have Councillor Windsor and Councillor King.
Thank you, Mayor. And Councillor King and the Recreation Committee, a big shout out for the Tasty Trail. I was fortunate enough to attend and enjoy on Sunday, and what a beautiful day. We had the weather, number one, and number two, what a fantastic event. It's one of my favorites the town puts off, like 4 years running now, right? So it keeps growing, and of course when I'm walking around that trail, I start thinking about the future plans that your committee has for expanding the trail and the lighting and all those things. There's tremendous potential in that area and in this town. So I really enjoyed that event. Look forward to next year. Infrastructure and Public Works update. We met last Thursday, full committee, myself, Councillor King, Mayor, Director Stacey, and CAO Gibbons. A handful of items to update, mostly positive news, couple not so nice news, but we'll get to that. And a couple of motions, 2 motions here tonight. So first up, at the committee meeting, we talked about gas tax, and that's one of the motions here, which is around paving in Hazeldale, right? So a couple things there. One, you see something, say something, and number 2, when you make a mistake, you got to own it. So there was an oversight. So the residents had reached out and said, "Hey, I think you might have missed this one," because we'd led a number of paving contracts in the area that were ranked as poor and in need of paving. And you've seen some of that happening around the town, right? We missed this one, and we want to make that right. So there's a motion here for that. I'll get to that. Contractor paving activity has been ongoing. It's been going well. We've been maintaining oversight on the contractor, and it's being done effectively, safely, and of quality. It's good to see, and hopefully get it all finished now before the weather continues to turn, because it's happening quick. Water treatment filter media has all been installed. That's a good thing. Swim park improvements complete. If anyone's been in the area or driven down Liam Hickey, you'll notice that was done very quickly and very well. And I was being a nosy Nelly when I was down there looking around at it. And we'd like to see that. And one thing's part of our new way of doing business going forward is to capture that and document the contractor performance, quality, timeliness, cost, and schedule, everything, so it's on the file. Anything happens to any one of us and someone, there's a future bid, you can review that history for positive or negative performance and weighs into our future decision making, right? Yep. So really nice to see that project completed like it was done. Excellent work. A couple not so nice things to talk about. One is illegal dumping of garbage in different areas in the town. It's terrible to see that. It's completely unnecessary. We have bulk garbage opportunities people can avail of. So we're closely watching that sort of thing. And please, anyone who's listening, do not do that. It's just so unacceptable for so many reasons, right? Also not so nice news is winter is coming. It wasn't anything really bad. I was trying to build up some suspense there, right? But you touched on Christmas. That's a nice part of winter. But the not so nice part of winter we talked about at committee. Speed bumps are coming up, right? Temporary speed bumps are going to be removed by the end of the month. Get them up and out the way, so we're not interfering to plows. Winter fleet readiness, so Public Works, we're looking at that. Director Stacy and Foreman Kelly, looking at the trucks readiness, the spare parts, the plows, the blades, and all the necessary features that are required to be ready for when it inevitably does come, and it is coming. So, that was, that rounds out our update, I believe. Yeah. Contractor readiness, paving, motions, and winter. And the dumping. Okay. Did I miss anything, Councillor King? Anything you'd like to add? No. It's good? Okay. So I'll read the motions. First one I just mentioned, around the paving in Hazeldale. Gas tax. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood submit an application to the Gas Tax Authority to complete paving in the area of Hazeldale Road, an area of 4 meters by 140 meters, at a cost of $19,866 plus HST. So moved.
Okay, moved by Councillor Windsor, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? And I think you summed up your commentary very well. Okay, if there's no other discussion, all those in favour, please raise your hands. Those against, motion is carried.
Okay. Next motion is a little bit of an interesting one. It's a change order, and it's a very small cost, but I think it results in a much larger savings, and I'll explain that a little bit. You may remember us talking about the Salmon Line water supply project extension, and then we had a meeting with the Minister of Transportation and our MHA, and the discussion was around whether or not we be permitted to go up the shoulder of the road. Province did not want us to be tearing up the pavement, nor do we, and there's a cost impact to how you execute that project, right? And what is the most effective way to do it? What's the most cost-effective way to do it? We wanted to be able to use the mats, remember that? So the result is additional site visits from representatives from the department, Provincial Road, Department of Transportation engineers visit, or engineering consultant visits. So we've got some additional costs here, complete the package, pre-tender, right? So we're only looking for additional costs for these documents to be revised accordingly, right? And you'll see the amounts are here. The engineering fees change 56 to 59, or $3,000, but it needs to be a formal motion, right?
Exactly.
It's a change order.
Yep.
We all need to be aware of it, understand what it is. I have no problem with it. As I said, I think that the result is much larger savings and a better end result. So I'll read the motion and you can discuss it if you like and ask questions. Change order number 1, Seminary Line Water Supply. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood approve change order number 1 for project number 17-MYCW-22-00046, Seminary Line Water Supply, dated September 19th, 2023. This change order is required for the purposes of design and contract documents. In particular, revisions to front-end documents per Department of Municipal Affairs and Environment requirements. These revisions cause additional correspondence and site visits with Department of Transportation and Infrastructure. The additional cost associated with these activities is $2,934.80, and the engineering fees therefore change from $56,793.90 to $59,728.70. So moved.
Okay, moved by Councillor Windsor, seconded by Councillor Crawley. Further discussion? I think you pretty well summed it all up.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favour?
Aye.
Those against, motion is carried.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Windsor and Councillor King. Now we'll move on to Business Development and Marketing. Deputy Mayor, you're up.
The Business Development and Marketing Committee, we met on October 12th with our director and then acting CAO, Marjorie Gibbons, and myself in attendance. Our mayor couldn't make it. We did review one business application that was for the 367 to 373 Conception Bay Highway, which we approved earlier. That went directly from one department meeting to another within a day, and we got that done. There was a lot of activity, I guess, within our department this week. With regards to our session today, we had our business session today up at IBEW, where we hosted the business community here in Holyrood. It was a fabulous session. We did have a lot of feedback from the group that was there. We had Julia Bloomquist with Conception Bay Area Chamber of Commerce. She did the panel discussion, and we did have 3 entrepreneurs here from Holyrood on that panel. And we did have Kelly Santos with Marine Institute give a brief presentation of what's going on within the Marine Institute, what's coming up. And that generated a lot of questions because, of course, it's going to hopefully generate, it's a great economic driver here for the community. We did, like I said, get a lot of feedback, which we did like a vision board type of thing. Everyone kind of put all that on. So hopefully at our next meeting, we're going to take all of those little sticky notes and go through it as a committee and try to, I guess, work better within our business community, because that's what we were hearing that we needed to kind of do a little bit more. And they provided some ways for us to do that. So that's going to be a part of our next committee meeting for sure. But it was a really good day, I have to say. Everyone really enjoyed it. So there's another demonstration here with regards to the Marine Institute. We had talked about EcoNext and Ogaga Johnson. I had forgotten she was there as well today and gave a presentation. She was fabulous as well. They are doing a presentation at the Marine Institute, but the delegates that are there are coming up here on October the 19th, which is Thursday, from 2:30 to 4:30. And they are going to kind of get a small presentation on what Oceans Holyrood Initiative is all about and how it kind of relates back into the Marine Institute. So if any of you are available to come up, we would certainly like for as many to attend if you can. Would be nice to meet those groups of delegates. And I think they're going to meet some of our startup participants here as well, our startup companies that are here in the building as well. We are still working on a memorandum of understanding with Marine Institute. I think that our director has reviewed that and made a lot of comments on it. You know, while the document that we received from Marine Institute was a good document, it just needed to be expanded a little bit. So Kelly reached out today when she was there and said, you know, we need to get together and try to get that done. So we're hoping, we've given them some dates, so we're trying to fit them into, or we're trying to fit us into their schedule, right? Which is not easy. But hopefully we can get that done within the next few weeks for sure. The next is the funding for the boardwalk. I think that's the last, that's the last update that I want to give. And of course, there is a motion associated with that this evening because we have received our funding for the boardwalk. So both levels of government have now sent letters of offer for the boardwalk development project. Industry, Energy, and Technology have approved $125,546. ACOA has approved $381,829. And the town already approved in its 2023 budget $162,500. So the total project budget is $669,875. So be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood accept the letter of offer from Industry, Energy, and Technology for an amount of $125,546 for the purposes of upgrading the boardwalk area. So moved.
Okay, moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? And I'll just say that, you know, it's...
Let's do the discussion after, if that's okay, Mayor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
The next one, be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood accepts the letter of offer from Atlantic Canada Opportunities Canada, ACOA, for the amount of $381,829 for the purposes of upgrading the boardwalk area. This is phase 2 of a 3-phase project to develop the boardwalk area to support and grow the tourism sector and provide residents and visitors with safe, reliable recreational opportunities. So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Woodford, seconded by Councillor King. Now, further discussion.
There we go. So I just want to give you a little update, I guess, on what phase 2 is potentially going to look like. So this funding will allow the town to action phase 2 of the boardwalk development plan that was prepared by Mills and Wright Landscape Architects. The project will involve preparing a detailed design and drawings to complete the activities identified in the original plan. So it will include the light poles and fixtures, so we will have lights along that part of the boardwalk and the existing piece that's there. It will allow us to complete the stage and add a green room and lighting for them at the festival grounds, because we do need a place for when we have entertainers come in. We need a place for them to be able to, you know, prepare for going on stage. Yes, get in out of the wind and the rain. It could be there for sure. It will allow us to complete the asphalt walkways and access driveway. Allow us to complete the concrete curbs and sidewalks, complete granular walks, upgrade the parking area, continue with the benches and planting of trees and shrubs and topsoil, erect a gateway structure similar to what we have right now to identify it, and supply the furniture for the park. So this work will set the stage for an improved event space, which we so desperately need, and will lead to the final development of the farmer market structures, which we will incorporate into the overall offering for the Boardwalk Festival Grounds experience. So that's, we heard that today. That would be nice to have a farmer's market. So, you know, this is our festival grounds, and, you know, the view of the harbor, the interaction with nature, the trail system, you know, it's where all of our major events occur, and we need to focus on that piece. That will be our phase 2. So that's what we're hoping to do with this funding.
Thank you very much. And if I could chime in, according to protocol. I'd pass the gavel. I think it's quite clear, and we all recognize that the boardwalk has become an extraordinary attraction for the town of Holyrood, for visitors, tours, and not only in the summer months now, but you go along and you drive by the beach, and the parking lot is full all day. And I mean, the weather is not the best, but you know, it gives people an opportunity to get out and walk. You know, despite the cold weather blowing in from the ocean, people dress for it, but it's a nice walk, you know, a safe walk. And we know that moving into the future, we're going to get more and more visitors, right? And that's what it's all about. So this phase here now, which is going to move, which is phase 2, as the Deputy Mayor indicated, which will go on down to the festival grounds, and it will provide many improvements that really need to be done at this point, because the gazebo that's down there now is, I think it's outlived its
It's seen its life. Mm-hmm.
And you know, that requires a lot of maintenance and everything else. So we've had a plan in place for the improvement of the marina, and all this now will tie into it, right? So you know, it's going to be beautiful, and the best thing about this is the maintenance part of it, because right now our boardwalk, you know, the older section of the boardwalk, it requires a lot of time for our public works crew to be over steady replacing boards and try to keep it up. And I mean, this to me is, it's not a cost, it's a long-term investment for the benefit of all residents of the community, visitors and tourists alike. And there's a lot of positive things that will come from that site. So, and again, you know, with the funding that's available, I think it's 80-20, Marjorie? Probably around 80-20, yeah. So, I mean, you're getting a tremendous bang for the buck, and, you know, we've got a very reputable architecture company doing this, Mills and Murray?
Yes.
And, you know, the next phase now will be from the end of at the beginning of the boardwalk, at the entrance, we say, over toward the Marine Institute, and that'll be phase 3. But that's a little bit more costlier, and it was recommended that we move forward on phase 2 going on the other end. So that's the way we hope to proceed. So, Councillor Windsor, have my gavel back.
Give him the gavel back. Give me the gavel. I don't want to repeat any of the very positive comments that have been stated by the mayor. Fully agree. I don't want to restate any of the benefits to the project basis, which everything's unanimous. The overall benefit to finishing this project. One thing, I guess, a question, I guess, for council, I don't know if we have the answers, I don't know, is because I'm very execution focused, right? So phase 2, will we be completing that in 2024? And more importantly, phase 3, will we be completing that in 2025? And the reason I ask this, we lost a full construction season, very frustrating for everyone, because we see the benefit of the project and how beautiful it can be, and we wanted to continue that as soon as we could, right? I also understand the funding mechanisms and the gears turn slow. We had not just one funding agency, we've got 2, and really appreciate the efforts of staff in obtaining the funding and the funding agencies. Thank you, very appreciated. But how do we make sure that we're executing phase 2 next year, 24, and phase 3, learning from what we just did? We lost a full construction season. I don't want to lose 2025. So, and it becomes 2026, right? So that's a maybe an open-ended question for discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, and I can only offer from my knowledge of it. We have a very short window of opportunity because we can't do any work in the winter, and that we don't want to do any work during the season when the boardwalk is in full use. So we are left with a very short window of opportunity, which is the fall.
Exactly.
So hopefully by approving this now for phase 2, we will be ready to go as soon as that fall hits next year. and get that phase completed. That's the plan. And Mills and Wright are overseeing all of this work that's being done. So they're on the ground and they're watching the timelines that is presented to them. So they're making sure that things get done in a timely manner. And as for 2025, I mean, that's all dependent, of course, on council and funding. And, you know, if we're going to approve phase 3 and if ACOA comes online and if IET comes online as well. But that's the plan. The plan is to have it completed by the end of 2025.
And I think it's super, super important, and I would have done it in the CSA update, to stress that this was money from the 2023 budget,
Yes.
already budgeted.
Right.
So it was, now, when we were doing phase 1, we were at the mercy of COVID supply lines. So we ended up getting
We ended up
dragged
going
out
over
way
yes,
longer
with our
than it should have
timeline.
been, waiting on lumber and waiting on other asphalt supplies. It was dragged beyond opportunity. And then we ran into a shortfall of money, revenue. And then so in the 2023 budget, this has already been set aside, which is why we can approve it now for 2024. So we wouldn't be able to get the approval. Like I said, you'd have to get the partners on board, but we'd have to get them on board earlier, knowing that we would have the money for 2025. So we're still in budget consultations,
Yes,
budget talks.
yes.
We have no idea really. And then timelines are at the mercy of contractors and supply lines again. So yes, I understand. We're ready for 2024 because the money was already there and approved.
Yes.
However, going further, we'll have to wait and see.
Right.
That would be my.
That's what our
So
plan
we really
is.
got to be a year ahead when it comes to our budgeting on our end.
Yes,
The
yes.
application process and to get the approval, you got to be a year ahead.
Well, we're no guarantees this year yet. Sorry.
So I guess we'll say we have a vision target. We have a vision target for
Yes,
25.
yes.
Yeah.
But actual
Well, I
reality
mean,
may change.
Yeah, you know, we're not going to start a project, you know, we're not going to allow a project to start and just piece it out and not, like you had mentioned, Councillor Windsor, we want to get it done. So, I mean, that will be one of the priorities that business development and marketing will put forward in a budget, that we want to continue on to complete the boardwalk by the end of 2025. And we're hoping that, and I can see why we wouldn't get the funding from ACOA and industry, energy and technology. Because because
It would have to be in the budget of 2024 for our.
For 25.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And we can't guarantee that right now.
right.
Gotcha. Awesome work. Thank you.
He's hoping very.
Folks,
Okay. So
I just got a text from our producer down at the back, just a friendly reminder to keep our mics close.
okay. Okay, so it's so moved.
Okay, any other questions or comments on that? If not, all those in favor, please raise your hands. Those against, motion is carried.
And that's it for business development and marketing, Mayor.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we'll move on to public safety, and we have Councillor Bruce King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't want to have a disgruntled tech down the back. First of all, I just want to also add what Councillor King says about, on behalf of the Public Safety Committee, pass on our condolences to Steve and his family on the passing of his brother. And I would also like to extend the congratulations to our super CAO on her new position.
He's looking for something.
Yeah. I want a raise. No, just kidding. We had our public safety meeting on the 3rd of October, and those people in attendance was our CAO, I'm not going to call her acting anymore, Marjorie Gibbons, our fire chief, Evan Woodford, myself, Councillor Buckle, and a representative from the RCMP, Sean Lewis. Mayor sent his regrets along with Robert Stacey. Okay. Our first thing was a public information session. We discussed that before because of some of the activities that were going on down in Marina Shores and O'Rourke's Road. We did get the RCMP in. We did a public information session at the fire hall on the 6th of October. It was very well attended. I think there was 18 seniors there. They had a great time. We had some stuff laid on, some gifts and everything. The RCMP, there was actually three RCMP officers there, and they did an excellent presentation on how to protect yourself and everything else. They passed out these booklets, Senior's Guide to better be able to protect. But it's not just for seniors, okay? So I don't want to give people the wrong impression that this was a seniors only thing, because it has to do how the safety of your vehicle, safety on the streets, away from home, security of your home, and all the other stuff. So it's online, so people can go in and have a look at it, or I'm sure if you happen to stop by the RCMP building up the road here and ask them, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to give you a copy. Okay, and this was going to be the first of many, and we'll be looking at something in November, because Christmas is coming, and we know there's lots of people out there with sticky fingers, and so we want to get a jump and make all it is. It's an awareness campaign of be aware of your surroundings, be aware of the people that's on the other end of the phone, be aware of the person that's on the other end of the internet and everything else, because there's people out there, their full-time job is to scam you and suck whatever money out of your bank account they can possibly get. So people need to be aware, okay? So, and that went very well. The rescue vehicle, I know there's a motion here tonight for the rescue vehicle with regards to the $100,000 from the Justice and Public Safety, so I'll move on for that one. But the fire chief is already out beating the bushes, looking for quotes and looking for the particular design of what the rescue vehicle is going to look like that would meet the needs, I guess, for the fire department of Holyrood. And there'll be more on that one as well. Okay. The roaming dogs, I'm not going to say very much about it other than the fact that the RCMP were involved, charges have been laid, so therefore it's before the courts, and we'll just leave it at that. But the biggest thing is, all of this stuff could have been avoided. All you have to do is be a responsible pet owner. That's it, right? That's all you had to do, be a responsible pet owner and have a little bit of respect for your neighbors up the road, down the road, across the street, and whatever. And this whole incident probably never would have happened. The fire chief wanted me to also speak on Fire Prevention Week, which was from the 8th to the 14th of October. And they had a really busy week. I'll just go down through some of the stuff. They visited both of the daycares that are here. They did presentations to the seniors at the library on the 11th of October. They went to Holy Cross. They did Holy Cross Elementary. They did a fire drill, and for the entire school. They did fire extinguisher training sessions for the staff at Nalcor, and they had it on social media. So they were very active. They were out in the community. They were showing people that they're out there and what they have to offer for residents. And from all accounts, it was very well received. Okay. The last one, or the second last one, is with regards to the community collaboration grant. And I know it was in the shoreline last week, I think it was, that Holyrood was going it alone. Well, Holyrood is not going it alone, right? I mean, well, first of all, you can't go alone because you need 3 partners, okay? So I just want to clarify, and also to add the fact that right now we have a letter from CBS, from the town of CBS, which is really good. We have a letter from Deer Park Vinland Road. We have a letter from Nalcor, Soldiers Pond. And we're going to do a motion shortly, but we also already have the letter from Brigus Junction, okay? And we have ourselves. So we're not going it alone by any stretch of the imagination, and we're hopefully that this money will be a success, and then we can invest it into our fire training facility.
And if I could interject, Councillor King, I just want to commend you for taking the initiative and really pursuing this and doing a lot of work behind the scenes to try to secure this funding.
It's amazing, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, but it's amazing what brass knuckles can do.
Now responsible citizen.
Yeah, okay, and dog. And the last one on the there was some residents brought up the issue with regards to lighting down by the mailboxes at Murray's Peak, and I commend our Director of Public Works because he jumped right on it after I passed it on to him. And Canada Post said, there's already a light on the pole there. Okay. So I went down, and I can't find their light on the pole, and there was no light on the pole. So anyway, then Canada Post said, well, we're not responsible for putting a light on the pole. So we're looking at it, and I think the average cost per month is about $30 to put a light on the pole. And it is dark down there, and people are very conscious now of what's going on. It's away from all other houses and stuff, so you can't see nobody. So if you got out of your car, there was somebody hiding there, right? You wouldn't know who it was. So we're going to work on that, and hopefully by the end of the next meeting, there will be a light on the pole at Maurice Peak. And that's all I have for the update, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. And yeah, no doubt, fire department. You got a motion there, I think.
Okay, first one is the Brigus Junction fire agreement. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the development of a fire service agreement with Brigus Junction to provide fire response. The agreement is to outline the specific terms and conditions, including the cost of the provision of service, under which the Holyrood Fire Department will provide fire and assist first responders, emergency services to the Brigus Junction area as a first responder. The ratification of the agreement will not negatively affect the services to residents here in Holyrood. So moved.
Okay, moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Crowley. Further discussion? You go first.
So just wanted to say, yeah, to back up public services, I know Councillor Buckle isn't here to help back up there, but this was an extensive research done on the part of our fire department, and it was based on the number of calls, based on the information that they have and that they gathered. This will not negatively affect, as I said, any services in Holyrood. It is only 1 year contract to actually feel it out, correct? And to make sure that we do have the services to provide, but also in the meantime, we do get the benefit of a community collaboration as well, and they will be paying us fire service fees just as the other Deer Park and Middle Gold Pond and Vinland Road. Did I say them all right? Yes. Okay, so I just wanted to back that up.
Okay. And I think it has been made known. Oh, Councillor Windsor, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. That was good context, Councillor Crawley, for sure. And I recall the presentation that we attended, the Chief, and I want to commend the Chief. I came into that meeting with a litany of questions, and I didn't get to ask them because he had a very good preparation to Council, and he'd really done the research and the homework, the call volume, as you mentioned, the pilot term, that's important, the cost, and one other thing was we're going to define the percentage of cabins, the threshold that it must pay. So it's not like half the cabin owners are paying, like that would not be acceptable to us, right? And that's something that's going to bring scrutiny to bear on other agreements that we have up for renewal. So just want to commend the Chief and thank Councillor King for being a champion of some of these initiatives.
Fully agree. No, I was just going to add that, just to clarify, that the town in no way will be responsible for collecting these fees. So we won't be sending out letters and following up that they're in arrears and everything else. That the agreement is that their association will collect the fees and then present the check to the town. Now, whether that's going to be done every quarter, every 6 months, I don't know. But, the important thing is that we won't be responsible for trying to collect these fees. And, that's one of the reasons why this was to be agreed upon for 1 year as a pilot project to see if it works out. So if they got an 80 or 90% collection rate, then I think we're okay. If it's down to 40 or 50%, well, we're going to have a problem about renewing that contract. So I just wanted to clarify that. Any other comments?
You almost answered my question. To Councillor Windsor's point, there's approximately, I think, 500 cabins out there, And right now, they're paying at the rate of about 80%. And they're going to work on trying to raise that as well. There's no administration with regards to, for us. The committee out there, like I think the mayor already alluded to, they go around, their committee collects the money, okay? And they will hand us the check for X number of dollars, whatever was decided upon, and that's the only thing that we do, and in return for that, we respond to any emergencies that they have, okay? But right, as it stands right now, they have a collection rate success of about 80%, which is very good, okay? I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Hmm?
Correct, yeah, that's right. That's a good clarification. This motion is to approve the development
Of an agreement.
of the agreement.
Yep.
Yeah. A
We've
subsequent
sort of jumped ahead
motion.
and discussed it, but
Yeah,
anyway.
but it was good flavor. I'm sure the residents are interested in what it's all about. And it'll be
Absolutely.
a subsequent motion, Councillor King, right? To adopt the
right.
agreement once developed.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, those against, motion is carried. Another up.
The next one is the rescue vehicle. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood accept the approved funding of $100,000 from the Department of Justice and Public Safety for the purpose of purchasing a new firefighting vehicle. This funding is a fixed contribution by the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador, and the Town of Holyrood will be responsible for the remainder of the cost. This rescue vehicle is key to the continued efficiency of the Holyrood Fire Department in its duties to keep residents safe and provide emergency services when required. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Further discussion? No, I would just say it on that, we will continue to try to secure funding from other, other agencies or whatnot to bridge that gap in the cost of the actual vehicle. But to have $100,000 off of other problems right now, it's a good starting point. We all know and recognize and accept the fact that this is a vehicle that's absolutely necessary, and they've gone quite a long time without a vehicle. And I think this $100,000 is a good starting point, and hopefully as time moves on, we'll find other sources of funding opportunities to bridge that gap. So just wanted to. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, please raise your hands. Those against, motion is carried. So that's it for public safety?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we'll move on to the communications update. Councillor Crawley.
Good evening, everyone. I as well would like to offer my condolences to Steve Martin on the passing and his family on the passing of his brother. Very tragic news, such a young age. Our communications committee met on September 21st. At the time, acting CAO Marjorie Gibbons, Director of Recreation Steve Martin, Deputy Mayor Michelle Woodford, Councillor Sadie King, and myself. We had a review of our internal communications policy, as we're apt to do every meeting, which I think is very, very important. We not only created an internal policy and adopted it last year, it is very important to ensure that we're continued to follow that policy and that it's executed properly as a go-forward basis. So something that we're keeping on the agenda all the time to keep that review up, which is, as we all agree, is super important. We unfortunately have no further update right now on our cell phone coverage. It has been a few weeks since we met, but we are still on it. We are really wondering now, as October comes in the winter, as we were told by representatives of Bell, that during the summer months, with the increased traffic in the harbor and the increased trailer parks and campers and tourists and things moving into our town, they say it negatively affects our cell coverage. We're not apt to agree fully with that. And so with October coming in, we're looking forward now to getting some more statistics and more data on the cell phone coverage. In our external communications policy, we're working on that as well. So we're moving forward with intake information, making sure it's documented, making sure there's a follow through and a follow up with the proper personnel. So external keeps continuing on. We're going to look at our committee meeting schedule again as well. And another thing that we're looking into coming up in one of these budget items, unfortunately, is looking at a way to host our minutes. So through, for sheer transparency to our residents, we would like to offer up our committee minutes as well as the minutes of our public meetings. We're just trying to figure out the best process and way to do that because, of course, there is sensitive information discussed during those meetings. So we'd have to look at a policy of how that would look, how we would put it out to the public, getting the most information out without offending or misrepresenting anyone. So we're still working on that. So we're looking at a template. And finally, the last big piece was our public budget consultations. We had to have information in, and this kind of falls over to CSA as well. We needed our public consultation or requests in by October 13th. As of October 13th, we had 2 submissions, which really would like to draw attention to the amount of traffic we had personally, professionally, after the 2023 budget was put out. That after all of those emails and all of that consultation, that when we request consultation for the 2024 budget, we got 2. Absolutely 2 submissions. That's it. Only one of which would like to meet publicly. So just really want to stress that if, when it comes time that we deliver a 2024 budget, it has to be understood that we are putting out every possible way for our residents of Holyrood to be a part of that budget, to have their say, to have their input, and formally we have 2 written submissions. However, having said that, on the other side of it, this year we decided to try something new and we put out our survey. So we put out a survey through our social media sites on our website, and up until the weekend we had 13 submissions, which is, better to hear of. But again, for a town of 2,700, 13 is a very low number. But we are looking forward to reviewing that as a whole committee. We have all the statistics and the data, and it has up in chart forms, graphing, so we can actually see the needs. And there's some very, very valid, great input, which is exciting to see. So there is, definite possibilities there to move forward. So we'll be presenting that to council a little further on. I think is it live until tomorrow? I feel like it is. I was going to say tonight at 12 o'clock, but no, we left it up until our public budget consultation. So the survey link, you're more than welcome to participate in our budget survey for 2024, and you can find it on our website, on our Facebook page, and Instagram page. And that's it for communications.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions or comments on that update? So now we will move on to, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Corporate Services and Administration. You're up again.
Yeah, totally threw me off because there was always one in between for the last year, but it was operational review,
Yeah, the operational
which we've completed.
Yeah, I was going to suggest on the operational review committee, I think that we're pretty well done with that piece of work from our perspective, because the rest of it is in the hands now of council. So I would suggest that following formalities in accordance with the Municipalities Act, because a committee is no longer active, that it be formally dissolved at the next regular meeting via
Yes.
motion, the same way it was brought in and approved through a motion.
Correct.
So there's
It will be
nothing there.
dissolved
Our
at the
work has
next
been
public
completed.
meeting. Absolutely.
Okay, carry on.
Okay, so my apologies, you get to listen to me again. Corporate Services Administration, we met on October 13th. CEO Marjorie Gibbons, Director of Finance Marie Searle, Councillor Bruce King, and myself. One of the first things we wanted to bring in, or to speak about, is the audit. We were formally presented with our audit as presented by Beacon Accounting, and there is a motion to officially adopt the audit. So really great information came out. It was very thorough. We do want to point out that this audit is for 2022. So having said that, there was a deficit in our funds, but that's not a surprise to us. So we were actually expecting that from 2022, which unfortunately gave way to the budget of 2023, where we had to increase our taxes in order to increase our revenue. So we're hoping this year we should look a little bit better by the time we're ready to follow through. We had some great feedback from the auditor. As she said, Holyrood always has its ducks in a row, has its paperwork in line. She said it makes their job very easy in terms of looking for the information and finding it. So for anyone thinking that there's a different set of books, there's not. We got one set and she finds them and she combs through them. We also we discussed our revenue, we discussed our expenses, and we discussed our budget. So our budget was a big part of the meeting. We are working on now going through each department. We have looked at what the revenue potentials are for 2024, and we're in good standing in terms of collection. So we have almost 84%. Right? Yeah, 84% collected for our property tax and business tax, roughly, which is looking really good for October. So we will continue on now with besides our public consultation meeting tomorrow, we also have a meeting, whereas the CSA will have a special meeting of budget. And each director has been asked to provide their numbers for 2023 and 2024 as well. Leaving out that there will be a management agreement coming up soon. Okay. So we have the presentation, we have the survey, our management agreement is moving forward. And now comes the big stuff, our loans. So there are a number of motions here tonight. And it is so important to stress that this is not new money. It is vital that our public understand that this is not new money. So even though it sounds like it, we're requesting ministerial approval to borrow this money that we've already budgeted for in order to move forward with a number of projects. Like I said, it is of vital importance. The same thing, having said that, I just want to throw out a little thank you to the Recreation Committee too. And Marjorie, because we have all kinds of activities happening through our fall festival, and they've been at a reduced cost this year. So for the Tasty Trail, for example, as Councillor Windsor said, it was sold out this year, which I don't know if we've ever had it sold out before, but it was at a much, much more reduced cost than it has been at other years due to a grant. So we're really excited to be able to do that and offer that to our residents. And there has been other activities in this fall festival that has gone the same lines. So, you know, CSA, we really appreciate it. And as residents, we super appreciate it. So I just wanted to put a little buzz out there. So I'm ready to move forward on the motions, unless Councillor King has anything else to add.
I just got one thing to add.
Sure, because I probably left something else.
No, I just want to reinforce one thing that Councillor Crowley said. That's with regards to the public consultations. Okay, and I too was probably, I don't know if the word disappointed would be the right word or not, but you know, last year, and she's absolutely right, there was a lot of feedback when the budget was done. Okay, and there was hundreds and hundreds of people, and all these different things. So we put it out to people. It's been out there. It's been on all the social media. It's been discussed in this room here. It's been discussed everywhere, right? So I don't know where else we could put it other than where it's on all the different social media sites, and it was in the flyer that's sent out. So but when you only get 2 people, and then you only get one that even wants to speak to us, I find that. I do. I find that really weird, and I mean, people need to be more involved, and they need to get out and speak their mind. If there's something that they agree with, they should say that. But if there's something going on that they don't agree with, they should also say that as well. So I think people need to become more involved, especially in the budget process, because whatever the decisions that are made in this room is going to affect everybody in this town outside of this room. So people need to be more involved, and they need to have an opinion. And that's all I want to say. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and it's something like we speak about a lot in public safety, being proactive rather than reactive. And last year we had a lot of reactions to our public budget, but we had no one being proactive this year except for those few that decided to input. So it'd be really nice for people to be cognizant of the fact that you can be proactive and get involved before the fact rather than after the fact. But I digress. We're going to make some motions here. So be it resolved, those accounts tabled in the amount of $246,054.98. Those will be checks numbered 45072 to 45146 and D3630 to D3684 be approved for payment from the general account. And that's just literally general accounting every day. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crawley, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? All those in favour? Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
Okay. And the next one is for audit 2022. Be it resolved to approve the 2022 audit as prepared and presented by Beacon Accounting. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crawley, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Further discussion? And Councillor Crawley just spoke on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all those in favour? Those against, motion is carried.
Hey, to continue through the audit is 2022 annual expenditure audit. Be it resolved to approve the 2022 annual expenditure audit as prepared and presented by Beacon Accounting. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crawley, seconded by Councillor Sadie King. Further discussion? All those in favour? Those against, motion is carried.
Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. Money already budgeted. Okay. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood requests ministerial approval to borrow $145,453.44 from the Rural Bank for the purposes of satisfying the town's commitment to the new water tank project as identified as 17-GI-21-00049 water supply upgrade. The monies will be borrowed for a term or amortization of 2 to 7 years at a rate of 6.85% and a monthly payment of $2,469.31. This borrowing was identified and approved in the 2023 budget. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crawley, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? And it is ministerial approval. All those in favour? Those against, motion is carried.
Hey, be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood requests ministerial approval to borrow $162,500 from the Royal Bank for the purposes of satisfying the town's commitment to the Phase 2 Beach Boardwalk Upgrade Project. ACO and the province are providing the remaining $537,375 for the project. This money will be borrowed for a term or amortization period of 5 years at a rate of 6.93% and a payment of $3,212.33. This borrowing was identified and approved in the 2023 budget. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crawley, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? If not, all those in favour, those against, motion is carried.
Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood requests ministerial approval to borrow $301,622 from the Rural Bank for the purposes of satisfying the town's commitment to the new water sustainability project. The overall project cost is $3,326,101.05. This borrowing represents the town's 10% contribution requirement. The project will provide safe, reliable, potable water for residents. This money will be borrowed for a term and amortization period of 10 years at a rate of 6.6% and a payment of $3,440.83. This borrowing was identified and approved in the 2023 budget. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crawley, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion?
Can't resist commenting on this one. Excellent job to the CSA committee and yeah, and this project, you know, it's so exciting for securing secure, reliable water for the residents, right? And I know you keep reiterating it's not new money, it's allocated in 23 budget. Excellent points, but also, you know, make a point of like the 90-10 sharing. You hear people say, "Why are you fellas borrowing money?" Now, you're borrowing $300,000 to get $3 million. Oh, geez, you're going to take that deal any day of the week, aren't you? Right? Of course you would. So really excited to see this motion coming through. That was the only comment I had.
And again, you know, this is one of the contributing factors as to what increased our debt service ratio. But we must keep in mind that if you look at the money that was actually expended or not expended, technically our debt service ratio is much below 16%. Am I correct, CAO?
Yes, sir. You
So-
are absolutely.
And that's what I referred to earlier about the operational review, because some of the things were not completed, but because it went in under an approved borrowing, then that was considered, you know, as increase in our debt service ratio. But technically, because the money has not been expended, and some of these items may not be
Won't reach it.
payments, may not be till, you know, next year or the year after. So technically, our debt service ratio is not 16%. It's more like, I don't know, 12, 13%.
On paper, we're 16, but in the actual bank account, we're 13.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's that need to be clarified, I
is.
think. Okay, any other questions or comments on that motion? If not, all those in favor, those against, motion is carried.
Okay. Let us continue. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood requests ministerial approval to borrow $134,486.75 from the Royal Bank for the purposes of satisfying the town's commitment to the sewer project. The overall project cost is $1,479,354.25. This borrowing represents 10% contribution requirement. The project will improve the sewer system in the Town of Holyrood. This money will be borrowed for a term amortization period of 7 years at a rate of 6.85% and a payment of $2,283.13. This borrowing was identified and approved in the 2023 budget. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Crawley, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? And I will just say, if I may, that again, you know, you're getting, you know, a bang for your buck when you
1.4
only
million.
have to pay back 10%. But we have, you know, clearly identified that the sewage treatment plant has been causing significant problems over the years because of its age. It was very difficult and challenging at times for replacement parts because of the age of the system. In some cases, parts had to be made up. So we've identified that with the public, that repairs and upgrades have to be made to keep up with future growth in the town and everything else. So this is, again, tremendous investment at a great cost, 10%. that will, serve the town well for years and years and years to come. But it's long overdue. Okay, any other questions or comments on that? If not, all those in favor? Motion is
We're almost there, boys and girls. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood requests ministerial approval to borrow $96,431.29 from the Royal Bank for the purposes of satisfying the town's commitment to the Salmon Line project. The overall project cost is $1,479,354.25, and this borrowing represents the town's 10% contribution requirement. The project will improve the availability of water services to residents of Holyrood. The monies borrowed will be over a term and amortization period of 5 and 5 at a 6.8% rate with a payment of $1,900.38. This borrowing was identified and approved in the 2023 budget. So moved.
moved by Councillor Crawley, seconded by Councillor King. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor, those against, motion is carried.
And because we just paid $200 and something thousand out, we have a healthy bank book balance of $643.22. But note, it is the end of the year. That's
And none of
everything,
it has
Mr.
been
Mayor.
None of it is
you.
expended. Like I said, it may not be for another year or 2 years before we dips into the actual payments. Am I correct? In some cases, that's what I said, yeah. I think that's probably the most motions that were made under corporate services in the history of the town of Holyrood.
Can I go home now?
You'll be free to go now in a few minutes. We're at the end here now. Okay, so now we'll move on to new business, and I'll do the go-around starting with Deputy Mayor Woodford.
Not much for me this evening, just that, Halloween is coming up. We won't have another public meeting, so for all of our little trick-or-treaters that are out there, please be safe and watch out for them as they're going around. And our spooktruncular is coming up, so anyone around the table who wants to come up and give out some treats, myself and Councillor Crawley will certainly welcome anyone.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor King. Okay, thank you. Councillor Crawley.
I'll just say it for the public. Myself and Deputy Mayor will be at the Spooktruncular. Whether anyone else wants to come join us, you're more than welcome. But do stay safe. And I just want to say I'm really excited about your business opportunity that you had today, and I'm sorry that I missed it. But I am looking forward to hearing those suggestions and the recommendations from our business community. So I'm really excited to see what they have to say and how we can move forward, because I think that's very valuable. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor King.
I'd just like to congratulate Marjorie on her new position. I think we made a very wise decision around this table when we decided to hire her as our permanent CAO. Because while she was acting, her position wasn't really secure. She didn't know where she was going to be the next day. The decision was made. And I'm sure as a result of this decision, we're going to see a lot of good things happening here in Holyrood in the future. Thank you.
Here,
Marjorie.
here. Councillor Windsor, you can wrap it up.
I never had anything to say at the last meeting's go around, and you were all shocked. So
Yeah.
I had to make sure I had something. No, I just wanted to, again, on a positive note, I mean, like, I turned to Councillor King just now, and I said, wow, like, there's a lot of great things happening, and she said, and more to come, and I agree. When you look at the planning and development motions Deputy Mayor made tonight of new applications for development, and all the motions by the CSA committee, for finally getting these really, really important projects across the line and shovel ready. I just think it's fantastic. Holyrood is an up and coming place, onward and upward, as you say, Mayor. Lots of good things to come. So excited to see all this here tonight. That's it for me. Happy Halloween.
Thank you very much, sir.
Can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
Around the table again. I heard sorry. To Councillor Windsor and all of the great things that are potential here in Holyrood. I mean, we saw it today. We heard it today from Econext to Marine Institute, to the Conception Bay Chamber of Commerce. The potential for Holyrood right now, we're on the cusp of something, of this community really growing in the next few years. And we have to listen to our business community, but also as a council, we have to realize that opportunity and be able to help our business community move forward and build it to where it needs to be. But we heard really great things today, and we can't wait to share it with the rest of you for sure.
Thank you very much. And as I've often said time and time again, the opportunities are boundless. It's up to us to realize the potential and work with our partners. Okay, that is the agenda. The date of the next meeting is November the 14th at 6 p.m. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Now, don't put up your hands one time. Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Crowley. All those in favour? Those against, meeting stands adjourned.